If you watched the trailer for Star Wars Episode 9, then you absolutely noticed that maniacal laugh right at the end. And with that cackle comes the return of one of the galaxy's most beloved villains, the Dark Lord himself, Sheev Palpatine. In this video, I'll be breaking down my theory on how J.J. Abrams will bring Sidious back, and what he's been up to since Return of the Jedi. I could not be more excited to make this video, so without further ado, let's talk Star Wars. Before we speculate on how Palpatine comes back, we should also cover how he came back in Star Wars Legends. This may come as a surprise to any of you who haven't read the Legends books or comics, but Palpatine has come back before. In the comics, he continued to transfer his essence into clones of himself and proceeded to wreak havoc on the New Republic. While Disney hasn't shown much of a care for the Legends universe, it is still important to understand the existing lore, as many storylines and characters have drawn from Legends material before. It was certainly an interesting storyline and true to Palpatine's character, but if Episode 9 goes down the road I think they're going to, then I think it will blow the Legends story arc out of the water. So how is Palpatine still alive? My theory is probably a lot less popular than others just because so few people know about it. This is because it involves the world between worlds that is shown in Star Wars Rebels. I think Palpatine was able to access this world, and before he died in Episode 6, he opened up a portal through time into the future. Now, I know many of you haven't seen this episode of Star Wars Rebels, so this may seem outlandish, but if you stick with me, I promise that I can make a rock-solid case for this theory. For starters, let's review what the world between worlds is for anyone who doesn't already know. Spoiler alert ahead for the final season of Star Wars Rebels. The world between worlds is essentially the Star Wars version of time travel. It is a plane outside of the space-time continuum, and it has a deep connection to the Force. There are multiple portals and Force-sensitive areas of the galaxy where you can enter this plane. In the show, Palpatine is having one of these sites excavated. Ezra, the main protagonist, is able to sneak into the site and finds himself inside the realm. Once inside, he hears various quotes from both the future and past films, and sees dozens of portals leading into various times and locations throughout galactic history. Eventually, he comes to a portal where Ahsoka is about to be killed by Darth Vader in a fight from an earlier season. At the last second, Ezra reaches through this portal and pulls Ahsoka out, saving her life. The two continue to explore this realm until another portal calls to Ezra. This portal, though, is different. This portal is covered in Sith markings and symbols. In it, Ezra sees his old master Kanan, who died earlier in the season. Ezra is tempted to save him just like Ahsoka, but also knows that if he does that, he'll kill his other friends in the ensuing explosion. He resists this urge, and the image suddenly disappears, revealing the Emperor standing over a Sith altar. The Emperor doesn't seem like he can enter the world between worlds, and instead tries to use the Force to pull Ezra and Ahsoka out, but they are fortunate enough to escape and continue their main quest. This arc is packed with lore, and I know that was a lot of information to anyone who's brand new to this, so let's break this all down. First and foremost, we need to mention that Rebels takes place a few years before Episode 4, which means that from the time of the episode to the time that he quote-unquote died, Palpatine had a little under 10 years to find a way into the world between worlds. Obviously, the ability to time travel would be of great interest to Palpatine, who craves absolute knowledge and power over the Force. He could kill any of his enemies before they reach their prime, and alter history however he pleased. I mean, it's not like he would just stop trying to get into the world between worlds once Ezra and Ahsoka escaped. He would continuously try to do this for the next 10 years. So given that you have the most powerful canon Darksider working tirelessly to break into this realm for over a decade, I think the odds are pretty good that he would be able to do it. But that's not all the evidence I have. How does Palpatine die in Return of the Jedi? In a big ball of blue mist. Where else do we see that mist? Oh yeah, when he's reaching into the world between worlds. I think this was too coincidental to not have a connection to Episode 9. Disney likes to establish major moves like this before it's announced, and I really do think that this was intentional, especially since they wouldn't introduce time travel into the franchise without some basis of it beforehand. One other big point is that Palpatine jumping into the future explains his absence over the last 30 years. I know there are many people who originally thought that Snoke was some version of Palpatine reincarnated, but I doubt that. When Snoke died, he just died. No mist or anything fancy. Palpatine could have been helping the First Order, or maybe been off searching for artifacts in the outer reaches of the galaxy, but ultimately, I don't think those make as much sense. Palpatine doesn't waste time. He's always making moves and scheming behind closed doors. He's checkmated you in 3D chess before you even get your invitation to play. He wouldn't just disappear and do absolutely nothing for 30 years. I know there are some other competing theories out there, and I will cover all that and more in my full breakdown of the trailer, but I just really wanted to talk about this aspect first, and I think it has a lot of potential. So, in closing, after Vader tossed Palpatine down the reactor shaft, Palpatine opened a portal into the world between worlds. Palpatine likely had a contingency plan for this type of betrayal, and from there he traveled to the time of Episode 9. This explains the mist during his death, and why we haven't seen him for over 30 years. Now, I personally love this idea, and I think it completely fits with Palpatine's character and what's been established so far in Star Wars. After all, it's like Luke says in the trailer, no one's ever really gone. But that's just my theory. What do you guys think? How will they bring Palpatine back, and what role in the film will he play? Be sure to comment down below about your thoughts and leave your own theories for me to check out. If you guys are able to, please share this video on any social media platform you're comfortable with. I really want to spread this theory around as much as possible and get some feedback on it, so my deepest thanks to anyone who does. Please be sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss the next time we talk Star Wars. Be sure to check out my other content and follow me on Twitter if you're interested. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.